Guys, and welcome back to another video, and make sure to like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. But this video is going to be a little bit different because in this video we're going to be teaching you how to play balloons. This is basically a guide on how to play balloons, okay? So the first thing you probably want to do when you load up into balloons is that there will be a tutorial. But that tutorial doesn't teach us everything about balloons, Just teaches the fundamentals. So let me teach you how to play balloons in the late game. Well, mostly when you're going to try to blackboard every map or become a very skilled player. Mostly, you will need to use monkey knowledge. That's going to be your main goal, is to use monkey knowledge. You need to get monkey knowledge, as you can see right there in the top right corner. And basically, what you can do with this monkey knowledge is that you can unlock different upgrades and special upgrades for specific categories of tower. And each category of tower is actually very important, because there are specific buffs that can only be given to that specific type of tower, such as the primary expertise village. And mostly you might be the first thing that comes to your mind is that once you actually download and play balloons, once you actually download and go into balloons, right now I'm in sandbox mode. This is where you can go after you beat a mode, but basically you will never have all of the upgrades unlocked. As you can see right here, I have every single upgrade unlocked except for this upgrade. It's because you need to get extra EXP, which can be farmed, which can actually be super easily gotten. Mostly your first thought is that what if you just use more balloons and you can pop more balloons, and if you pop more balloons with that specific tower, it's gonna get more XP. But actually no, I think that's the basic player's thought and assumption, that you're just gonna get the XP from popping balloons or attacking bosses or like doing anything that's balloons tower defense related, of destroying that balloon or something. But actually that's not how it works. You will only get EXP if you actually just kind of like wait a few rounds, and those rounds will have to actually go by. But you are kind of right with the assumption of popping balloons is required, because you'll actually get a bit of bonus XP for popping balloons. Right now there's another thing, which is T5s. Most people assume that once you have a T5, they'll just get their first ever T5 and they will think like, oh my god, this is so powerful. Like, what if I sent like a pink balloon? It just gets evaporated. Well, most beginner players will then assume to try to get another another T5. But that thing is actually incorrect, because you cannot get another T5 of the same tower, of the same T5 if you already have one. So what you want to do is that you can only get the other T5. So if you really like that T5 tower of yours, unfortunately you have to keep that T5, and only that specific T5 you can have it. I mean, you can have an infinite amount of T4s, or I guess as much T4s as the map can actually fit, but you will never be able to get those T5s ever again, okay? So make sure that you place your specific T5s in specific areas. Also, another thing is that most players just assume that you will get the exact amount of cash you actually bought the tower with, but that's completely incorrect. You'll only get 70% of the cash. But actually, this could be extended. But also, if you sell a T5, then your T4s can also become the T5. Anyways, this sell value, quote unquote, we actually have to go into a map that's made out of water to show you this. Also, yes, water maps are very important because most towers, or a few towers, or just kind of like 3 or 4 towers, such as the ice monkey, who can actually go on water and land, but this boat and a submarine can't go on land. It's kind of obvious, why would you drive a boat on land, But most towers are actually amphibious, like the Mud Monkey and the Ice Monkey. But if there's a map with an extreme amount of water, you can actually use the Ice Monkey to get rid of that water. But don't use the Ice Monkey, because the first time you see a tower that you think is good, such as the Ice Monkey over here, it sounds epic, right? Pop and freezes nearby balloons over time. So basically what he can do with the Ice Monkey's power is that if I just sent a balloon, he will completely stop it. He sounds amazing, right? Well, actually, it's completely wrong, because he can pop one layer off a balloon. So let me just show you. Let's slow down the game and let's put down a Dart Monkey. Okay, now this Dart Monkey will actually not be able to pop the balloons that he freezes. Oh no, I accidentally, that was a bit of a mistake, okay? So the balloons that he freezes, the Ice Monkey is not able to pop, alright? So basically, that's... So if I just spawn like any balloon, he will freeze the balloons, but the Ice Monkey isn't able to pop it. But actually, there are a few towers that can pop it, and you should point an eye to those towers, such as armor-piercing darts. Wait, a cannon? Oh wait, don't try armor-piercing darts. It sounds like armor-piercing darts can actually pop it, but it can't. There are a ton of towers that can't do this, but also the Ice Monkey is completely stopped by white balloons, which he cannot affect with his freezing, especially the zebras. But now let's talk about the most powerful balloons. Or not really the most powerful balloons, but the lead balloon. This balloon is not like any balloon that you will ever face, because any projectile that isn't an explosion or that does damage that isn't like burning or something, like a burning piece of wood, which is really funny because literal lasers can't pop this guy. So if I place down a super monkey, who is also, you might think the super monkey is literally the coolest tower ever, but actually nope, he can't pop it even with laser eyes. So, you should probably use a tower like the bomb shooter. Or wait, am I reading this right? Wait, what the hell? Or you can use the engineer's cleansing foam. Let's just show the bomb shooter one. Yes, bomb shooters can pop it. But you know what also? You know who also can pop it? A piece of foam on the floor. Yep, I'm not even joking. Let's just show the clip. Just show him. He can't pop it. He can't pop it. Bam. He just pops it. What the hell? Yeah, the cleansing foam is actually a very useful tower. You should probably get some EXP for it. Also, yes, every tower you have to get some EXP. You will never have all these things at once. You will have to slowly use them throughout the game to get more EXP, such as the taxon, which I don't have unlocked. See? But another, probably the worst type of balloon ever, is the camo property balloons. All balloons with this property can't be popped by your regular towers. Like, not even the Dart Monkey little guy can't pop them. But also, there's another really, really weird couple of exceptions. Like, if I shoot at him with a gun, he's not going to be popped. So, the camos are going to be a huge problem. especially the first camera balloons that you will have to face on the difficulty chimps. Now, if we actually go and check out the difficulties, oh no. If we actually go and check out the difficulties, there are 3. You might think there are only 3 different difficulties: easy, medium, hard. They actually have subcategory difficulties that you can unlock after beating them. So for easy, you will have standard, which is obvious; sandbox, which is not a requirement, but it's basically where you can just try different strategies; primary only, and deflation are the main things of easy. But the hardest thing of easy is actually deflation, where you only have 20,000 cash for the whole thing, okay? And primary only is exactly what it sounds like. These tower types all have their own classifications, such as primary, military, and magic. Now, magic towers can most of the magic towers actually can't pop purple balloons, which are a specific type of balloon. So actually what you want to do if you encounter the purple balloons is that you should not use any fire towers, because like if I use a tower like the boomerangs, red hot rings, oh no, I accidentally did something, okay? Wait, boomerangs, red hot rings can pop it, but there are a few insanely weird exceptions, such as the super monkey's plasma vision. Actually, if we use the most powerful characters or the most powerful things in general, yes, he can pop it, but there are a ton of exceptions, such as the Dartling Gunner's laser cannon, which actually just kind of like, you just know. There are a ton of fire-based towers that can pop it, but, it's very specific fire-based towers, alright? So you don't want to use a wizard or anything like that. Anyways, there are a few towers that you won't be able to unlock yet. There are going to be a few towers that are going to be locked behind pops. And these 3 and there are only 3. The 3 towers are Desperado, and then the most powerful, but he's not the most powerful actually, because even though he takes the most amount of pops, but you should set your pops to the Dartling Gunner, who is the most powerful type of tower, because he has a Dartling gun, but his T5s are absolutely insane, such as this giant thing. But be warned, he is manually controlled, or you can lock him in. And right now you might be seeing this button, but you won't have it unlocked in the beginning, okay? You should also probably know every single type of balloon, such as the slowest type of balloon is the red balloon. A little bit faster is the blue balloon, the green balloon, which is even faster, the yellow balloon, which is insanely fast, the pink balloon, who just kind of zips across your screen in 3.85 seconds. But there are also special types of balloons who also go pretty fast, but they only go as fast as the yellow balloon. But the purple actually matches the pink speed in general. But now the LEDs are actually more slower, but you know what is slower? The most powerful types of balloons. Moabs. Moabs are basically just balloons with more layers and way stronger, such as a Dartling Gunner isn't able to pop them yet. Not even. We can do some damage with maximum Dartling Gunners, but the Moabs are the most powerful types. But before the Moabs, let's talk about the other balloons. A rainbow balloon spawns into zebras, which are super duper dangerous, okay? So watch out for those. And ceramics are slow moving balloons, but they basically function just like a Moab class balloon. And all it will take is that you will have to hit them 9 times, but every single time you hit them, they will actually become slow for a tiny little short bit. Now let's talk about Moab class balloons. Probably the main thing you saw on YouTube that actually got you into this game of how absurd the free play rounds look like. You know? So let's just spawn in a Moab. As you can see, he's traveling way slower than a pink. As you can see, if I spawn in a pink balloon, oh no, actually this guy is actually very powerful. Yes, get the ace. If we just compare the two's speed real quick, let's give the Moab a head start. The pink will zip past it. It's because the Moabs are extremely slow. But to make up for it, they're really tanky. But also, the other thing is that if you grew up playing BTD5, you might be seeing this yellow type of thing, which is completely normal because it's your heroes. Heroes will, if you want, you can level up your heroes throughout the game. You can level up your heroes, or they will just level up automatically throughout the game. So like if a few rounds go by, he'll maybe level up. But the main reason why he levels up is mostly because of the balloon popping. You have to make him pop a few balloons or just make him wait a few rounds. But the next part is super duper crucial. You have to know this. Moab class balloons aren't just big floating brutal behemoths. They also have things inside of them, also known as children balloons. If we just use Pat Fusty real quick, you can see that there are 4 ceramics inside of a Moab. So a Moab actually equals 4 ceramics inside, you know? But the next one is even stronger, the BFB, which stands for Big Brutal Floating Behemoths. If we place down Path Fusty real quick, you won't have him unlocked because he actually takes 3,000 monkey money, but actually you can get the monkey money super easily. Basically he is much tankier, since he's so tanky, he's way slower than the Moab, but to make up for it, he's even tankier than the Moab, and he contains 4 Moab class balloons, which already contain 4 ceramics. So if we actually do the math, this thing has 16 ceramics inside. How crazy is that? But that's not where it actually stops, because as you can see, there's another green one, which is the final one you will actually encounter if you play on hard mode. And that's the ZOMG. You should watch out for this guy because these guys can actually pack a punch to your defense. They're super duper strong, but right now Pat Fusty can obviously handle them on his own. But as you can see, 1 ZOMG contains, wait a minute. Actually, I accidentally spawned 2 ZOMGs, so let me just show you properly with 1 ZOMG. We're just gonna kind of wait, but while waiting, let me properly explain most of the towers to you. Alright, so this ZOMG, after popped, which will spawn 4 VFBs, which if we actually do the math, he has 64 ceramic balloons and an RB of something that I can't really count because it's super duper high, but you know, it's super insane. Another thing that you should probably be worried about is buffs. Buffs are something that is basically essential to the game, which buffs can actually give your towers camo detection, which this is not the only way to get camo detection onto your towers. There are obviously towers who can see camo detection from the beginning, and you can actually know which towers see camo detection, which towers have camo detection or not, if by this little indicator right there. See? That thing will indicate that there are camo balloons, and if you set a target to them, if you set a small target to them and spawn a camo balloon and a non-camo balloon, you will target the camo balloon specifically. And now, the towers with the camo detection buff, like if I give this guy a camo detection buff, he will be able to see camos, but it won't appear here. It will appear on top of his head. But actually, the alchemist, while we have this guy placed down here, he has, if you go top path alchemist, he will have different types of things. The final tier being the permabrew. The permabrew is basically all of them combined, but infinite. It will stay there, completely there, forever until you sell the alchemist or something like that. Permabrews are really good. Alchemists are also very good because they can also grant your towers like lead popping power. Yeah, completely forgot. I have to look back at the script, you know. See this little indicator up top? It will mean that they can pop lead balloons. See? It's basically acidic mixture tips, you know, or salsa in our world. Anyways, another thing that you have to know is that the towers cannot stack on top of each other, alright? So just make sure that, but there are global towers which you really want to use because they are really powerful, which includes every single type of military monkey. How cool is that? Every single military monkey has some form of global range. The sniper is obvious, but some of these other ones are specifically upgrades, you know? Such as the advanced intel on the sub actually grants it infinite power, and the carrier flagship and aircraft carrier gives the buccaneer monkey his infinite power detection. Okay? But let's do everything aside. We're gonna talk about the most powerful balloon and the worst balloon in my opinion, the DDT. He just doesn't look that strong. He's like a Moab black. He's a black colored Moab who travels much faster, right? Wrong. Completely wrong. Not only does he have camo detection, he also has lead properties, which means that this dart monkey can't pop him or do any form of damage to him because he's made out of lead. Another thing is that he's also have the same properties as black balloons, which cannot be propped by explosion towers. So this is gonna be very terrible. But so to properly actually test this, let me show you. If we go radar scanner, which is actually the buff that gives towers camo detection, which is really cool. You should probably use it in every single game. But here you can see he is basically made out of lead, and he cannot be popped by explosions. You might be wondering, like, what the hell can pop him? Well, there are actually a couple of towers that can super easily pop him, like the Super Monkey's Plasma Vision, which, as you can see, is the first tower which will do damage. See? He's kind of damaged. So, if you ever see him in your game, be prepared. These guys are dangerous. Next tower you should probably use a lot to get the things, or I guess the upgrades for, is the Spike Factory, because there is a bottom path gives you infinite spikes, and the middle path, however, will grant you a huge amount of stuff. I mean, do you see how many spikes there are? But I will tell you something. Spike factories may not look like they have camo detection, but actually they have built-in camo detection. So make sure to use them in camo. If there are a few problems, you can use them against camo balloons, okay? Spikes just quote-unquote hurt stuff, apparently, according to Ninja Kiwi. If we get rid of all of the spikes, the spikes don't really matter. Actually, we can super easily get rid of the spikes by using a ton of Moabs. Oh yeah, sandbox mode is like this. You can do whatever the hell you want here. Anyways, onto the towers that you should avoid like the plague. Okay? Such as the Beast Handler. This thing sounds amazing. He sounds cool as well. He can spawn dinosaurs. He can spawn dinosaurs, birds, fish, megalodons. But this guy is actually terrible. Don't use him. He might be cool, quote unquote, but just he's terrible in general. The next tips I will give you is that there are actually some stuff that is completely impossible for you to beat. So if you unlock these maps, specifically these maps in export, and if you ever attempt to beat chimps on ravine, then make sure to use the sword, because that's actually impossible. It's a little Easter egg, you know? But actually, almost every single map has these little secrets and Easter eggs that Ninja Kiwi put in here. Like this little book can open and close. This whiteboard can flip over upside down. But if you ever have any lead balloons that are gonna leak, you can also use this. The maps, if you want to play this map and you just downloaded the game or something, you want to play this map really badly or something, any of the maps that are shown in this video, if you want to play it, you will have them unlocked, because all of the maps that I showed you in this video are beginner maps. Mostly all of the maps are divided into 4 categories. The 4 categories are beginner. The first couple of maps, which are super duper easy. They're very easy to beat. But then you get to the intermediate maps, which already they start to feel like hell. I mean, like, come on, man. Do you see this stuff? Quiet Street. And most of these intermediate maps have multiple paths going at once. Specifically the map, let's take a look at the map Bazaar for a bit. The map Bazaar is an intermediate map, and what you can see here is that already there is only one path that goes like this. But if we kill the balloons here, just pop all of the balloons that are here, the next round the balloons will come from here, which will mean you have very low amounts of space, so you should probably place your towers in specific spots that will actually be beneficial. So you need to think about your placements. The next thing you probably want to go for is that monkey money that you can use to get heroes. Already you can just kind of buy monkey money from the shop or something, you know? Like, see, you can do that. But if you want to get monkey money in a more fun way, you can complete it like these challenges, like Slimy Expedition, new dart just dropped. But you want to go to experiments, because these are actually the ones that will give you monkey money. But over in the tutorial section, actually, first time tutorial, which is a complete version, which will explain it will also help you to play the game better. And first time tutorial will also give you 500 monkey money for just learning to play the game. There are also other ways to get monkey money, like achievements, like me did a job on DDT, and they're mostly about popping balloons, but there are actually some very fun ones, like tools to draw and upgrade monkeys a ton of times, or red and blue makes pop 100,000 purple balloons. Most of these are really fun, such as the secret achievements, which you can actually get by just kind of like typing 3 question marks on your keyboard, and bing bang bada boom, there you have it. I can actually tell you and teach you to play and complete one of these achievements. This one, which will give you 3 cave monkeys, is called Rhymes with Grug. You know? Rhymes with Grug. And to get this Rhymes with Grug achievement, you have to load up into this. But you shouldn't play it on Sandbox, because most of these achievements about popping balloons or something, yeah, you can only do them actually on regular games, but mostly completing the Rhymes with Grug achievement, you have to go on a beginner map called Frozen Over, complete the Cave Monkey Easter egg by bombing his house 1,000,000 times, which will give you the Cave Monkey. But don't worry, because even after you broke out of his house, you can keep bombing these place, and if you want to get this achievement even faster, you should probably use the hero Striker Jones. And yes, there are different heroes, not just Fat Fusty, Quincy, or any of these heroes you see. There are even more heroes with their own skins, like this one, and this one, and I think the first hero you should get with monkey money is Captain Churchill, because he's a really good hero. I'm recording you absolutely. Yes. The next thing you should probably think of is playing co-op. Co-op is probably the worst mode, so don't do it unless you want to get rid of your mental sanity. But basically co-op is exactly like this. You have a couple of players, and then there will be someone who is leading the whole thing. They will make it, then all they will do is start it. It could be on any map, any difficulty, anything. If you go on any game, the long games are mostly where the harder difficulties are, and medium games are mostly beginner, intermediate. So if you're a starting player, you should probably not play co-op or actually any of the special modes such as boss events. But since there's nothing happening right now, which is really unfortunate, I can't really show you the boss events, okay? There is also community section, which you should probably play, because this is the main meat and potatoes of BTD6. This is where the community, and including you, can make your own challenges. If you don't feel like playing the regular Bloons Tower Defense, you can just go and just, see through a bunch of challenges. There are also a ton of different tabs, and in the settings you can actually filter it by all time, last month, week, 24 hours. No data found. Looks like nobody's making things real quick. There are also Odysseys, which Odysseys are really hard, but for the community, if you're a beginner player, you should probably play these Odysseys or just any kind of challenge. If you really want to play the content browser, you should play them with the higher percentage, because they will mostly be fun. But also another thing is that not only they will just be fun in general, but they will also just help you play the game, or just teach you how to play the game, like this one, where you have a ton of money and you can just upgrade your heroes, and a BAD will come. BAD is one of the most powerful type balloons ever. This is the most powerful type balloons, but boss balloons are obviously much more powerful because they're special events. Obviously, they're going to be much more powerful than this one. And yeah, basically, BADs are a combination of every single balloon, a hodgepodge of everything combined together. They're massive and they're huge, and they travel super slowly, just like the ZOMG. But they'll travel even slower than the ZOMG, where the ZOMG will also just travel at the same pace. But the most weirdest thing about these guys, or the worst and scariest thing about these guys, is that if I just clear the balloons real quick, is that if I just spot any balloon in general, any Moab class balloon or something, and I just put down Pat Fusty or something, they can be knocked back or affected in some kind of way, or even shattering shells or something will affect them. Or if I place down a super monkey, get them plasma blasts and the knockback. See, it kind of slows them down, and then the helicopter upgrade, and then one helicopter upgrade, which will all make them like push back Moabs, such as pushing back Moabs and launching rockets at them. Basically being able to infinite stall them, but for BFBs, all they will do is you can just stun them in place forever and ever and ever. And then for the ZOMGs, it's kind of obvious. You can also just kind of stun them forever. You can only slow the ZOMGs down. For DDTs, you can't really do much but slow them down by a little bit. But for the BAD, no effects of monkeys actually work for the BAD. Nothing works for the BAD. You might try to use hug abilities from like Pat Fusty, but unfortunately his abilities actually can't affect the BAD. But if you actually manage to somehow destroy the BAD, which is probably the hardest thing you will ever have to do in your life, except for, DDT destruction, I'll just summon a T5 tower just so this BAD can be destroyed and everyone is happy. They will not only spawn 2 DDTs, but 2 ZOMGs, which means if we do the math real quick, that's a lot of ceramic balloons. That's a lot of red balloons as well, 16 billion RBE comes with a price. RBE is red balloon equivalent, okay? And that is my BTD6 guide. Hope you guys enjoyed this guide, and obviously leave a like and subscribe if this guide actually helped you. Bye.